Okay, welcome everybody. We're going to start off today. I want to get down to brass tacks. I know we've talked about this liability dependent investing that's been taking place. Well, the breakups and these strategies in the UK. I want to get into a little bit greater detail in regards to what's happening there and why it's important. And why we're paying close attention to what's going on. And it's also, quite frankly, it's a bit of a reality check. Let's be honest here. It's a bit of a reality check for where we are and what we're doing. First and foremost, inflation numbers. I know we talked about them yesterday to some degree, looking through a lot of this. I do believe that some of the information in this CPI is a bit dated. One of the strongest aspects in this data has to do with housing, and it still hasn't come down yet. That's a bit of a lagging indicator, and we're starting to see markets around the country break little by little. And obviously we have mortgage rates that are up near a 20-year high. I've never seen rates move this quickly ever. And without a doubt, it's going to start hitting the real estate market, which will again knock that down to some degree. What's going on in the UK? We talked about Liz Truss coming in and putting forward a plan, more of a supply side economics plan. Wanted to cut taxes. Her predecessor, Boris Johnson, was planning on raising the corporate tax rate from 19 to 25%. She put the kibosh on that. She also wanted to lower income taxes as well. And the conventional wisdom, the narrative out there is because of this, it's basically through the UK gilt market, if you will. And again, it's part of this LDI insurance things that we've been talking about. Through it, basically a mess. Yields went through the roof, which obviously threw off all of these fancy esoteric derivatives that were put together to enhance pension funds. A big calamity. Now, she reversed her position in regards to income taxes, and it helped for a day with the yields. Helped for a day. Today we have news they fired their executor of basically their Treasury secretary. He was at an IMF meeting in Washington, got called back and was fired. And he was replaced by a guy by the name of Jeremy Hunt. Truss is, again, walking back the corporate tax relief that she was putting forward. And I've been batting this around in my head. You actually saw today, after this announcement, what happened? Bond yields, gilt yields dropped, and then they reversed. You might want to blame, there's an argument to be made that maybe that the tax cuts and Liz Truss, maybe that was a spark that may have started the fire. But again, the conditions were there for a large fire. You get it? The conditions are there. It's like California. You get those dry conditions in certain areas of California, a lightning strike, a spark, somebody throws a cigarette and boof. Now, that's not the case where I live here on Long Island where it's wet all the time, okay? We don't have this. The conditions are not there. The conditions are ripe for these types of flare-ups. Why? Why is this? Well, quite frankly, people, it's big government is what it is. We keep expanding government here in this country, but they already have massive government over in Europe. And I go back a little bit here. I remember wasn't too long ago, somebody was, Bernie Sanders or somebody was talking about socialist Scandinavia. And the Scandinavians got ticked off. One of the Scandinavian countries is like, we're not socialist. We're not socialist by any stretch. They're not. But they do have a very large welfare state. UK, National Health Service, they have a much larger welfare state. Now, again, we keep expanding ours. And the reason why we haven't seen the crazy volatility as of yet, even though we've seen some volatility in our treasury markets, is because we're the world's reserve currency. It is what it is. We are the world's reserve currency, and we can get away with a lot more than the UK. Our economy is a hell of a lot bigger than theirs. These are just the facts, people. It's just the reality of the situation. And this holds true throughout Europe. They pay very high taxes. They have VAT taxes. They have taxes here, taxes there. We do too. But again, they also as well, they don't spend the type of money that we spend on our military. It goes into all these social welfare programs that they have. They got to be paid for. And again, I've talked about it here when it comes here in the United States, and we talk about our progressive tax code. People keep asking, they keep wanting more and more from the government and to do all these things. I don't, personally. We have a progressive tax code where, again, 50% of the population isn't paying federal income taxes. Sure, you're paying sales taxes. If you own something, you're paying property taxes. You're getting hit here and there, but not like everybody else is. And I've always been a big believer that everybody should pay something. Everyone should pay. It shouldn't be, less than 50% of the country paying the entire bill. Rick Scott from Florida actually brought this up, and, Republicans ran. They didn't want to hear it. Because they don't want to sell this thing politically to anybody. They don't want to put the hard work in selling something that's right. Republicans don't like being honest. They like telling people what they want to hear. Do you understand? They do. The Republican Party likes to tell, their base what they want to hear, not what needs to be told. Democrats, on the other hand, and, the one truthful thing that Biden said this entire week, he said, name another president that's gotten more done in his first couple of years. He makes a good point there. Democrats get shit done. I don't like it, but has he gotten a lot of things? Yeah, absolutely he has. I mean, one can make the argument that Obama did more because of Obamacare, and also taking over the student loan issue. And he also had American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. So yeah, they're neck and neck. There's getting things passed in their first couple of years, as far as, their accomplishments. I don't call them accomplishments. They're nonsense for me. Okay. But they got what they wanted. They got what they achieved, and at faster than anybody else. I mean, did Bill Clinton do that well? No. I mean, Bill Clinton remembered as a much better president than those two combined, and actually worked with Republicans later on in his presidency for welfare reform, with working with Gingrich with the contract with America. That's a whole nother thing. Okay. Listen, people, we have a welfare state here, and it has to be paid for. Okay. And everybody should have to contribute, but we have to put a stop to it. I remember talking about this, on the show, a long time ago, had to be 10, 12 years ago. Talking about, with raising taxes. And I'm like, you want to raise my taxes. You want to go to people. You want to rally the country. So you want to go to people. So, what we need to raise taxes. How about, you compromise there in Washington, D.C. and actually pass a balanced budget amendment? And how about for all of the new tax dollars that you're bringing in, you use those new tax dollars to pay down our national debt. So at least it feels like we're accomplishing something, because I know the more money I send to Washington, D.C., the more money they're going to spend, and then they're going to just add on top of that. It's basically, by sending more taxes to Washington, D.C., you're enabling them. You're an enabler is what you are. It's like you're giving a crack addict crack. It's what it is. But again, this is what we're dealing with right now. And the reason why I'm talking about the conditions on the ground in the UK, not just the UK, it's Europe. It's Europe. There's going to be more problems. Do you understand? And it was a guy I mentioned the other day, European Commission Vice President Joseph Borrell. He said it again. He says, we rely upon the United States for our security. They do. We take care of that. But he said, our prosperity is based upon cheap fuel, cheap energy from Russia, and a free-flowing import-export market with China. And those things are going away fast. Well, the whole Russia energy thing's gone. Issues with China. China's getting tougher, and they want all this intellectual property transfers, and obviously they're going to want to have more domestic production and consumption for their own citizens. So these things are going away. They're going away. Now, in the case of the UK, the UK has the ability to get natural gas on the ground. Europe screwed themselves right now. They screwed themselves. They don't know what to do. It's that bad. It really is. And again, we cheered them on. We did. Oh yeah, that's great. Let's keep going to the windmills. How's that working out? So again, people, we got to have a collective come to Jesus moment as a nation. What do we want to be? What do we want to be? You want to be like Europe and have them? We already have a massive welfare state. At some point in time, we got to pay for it. I don't want to pay higher tax. I don't want a welfare state. And if we are going to pay for it, you can only tax people at the top so much. Everybody's going to have to start paying taxes. Everybody's going to have to start paying taxes at some point in time. And guess what? You're going to have to get taxed on all those transfer payments as well. And all those subsidies you get for Section 8 housing. And you should get taxed on the subsidies that you're getting for Obamacare. All of these things, okay? You should be getting taxed on. Saudi Arabia confirmed that the White House begged them not to cut production until after the midterms. Now, one could make the argument that that's illegal. What the Biden administration, in essence, is illegal, looking to influence, using foreign governments to influence an election. And that's what it is. That's what it is. If Trump had done something like this, if Bush, if they had done anything like this, this would be one of the biggest stories out there. This would be like, man lands on the moon, okay? And the New York Times, it would be that big a print. See if you can even find it in that paper right now. Another one of Biden's whoppers yesterday, claiming that inflation, again, listen, if you're preaching to stupid people, that obviously have no sort of critical thinking skills, and you tell them that inflation's at 2%, and they want to eat it up and believe it, I don't know what to do, people. Listen, we got a lot of dumb people here in this country. He's telling everybody that inflation is running at 2%. Anyway, let me get a little bit more on energy. Victor Davis Hanson made a list of things, and I want to highlight these as well. We've talked about them, okay? So if you think that the Biden administration wants lower energy prices, you're wrong, okay? And let me tell you something. I've got quite a few, I know they're going to get mad at me. Left of center clients who say with Democrats that they have money. None of this stuff bothers them. And this is kind of the argument that I have. It's, again, they think that they're furthering the needs of what our nation needs down the road. There are people out there, they don't give a damn about higher gasoline prices. They don't think about it. It's no big deal. This is what they want. Oh, yeah, oil's bad. The Biden administration the Democrats do not want lower energy prices. You do need to get that through your thick skull. Okay? They don't. He canceled the Keystone pipeline. He canceled the oil fields in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. Oh, the polar bears. No. Again, do a little homework and actually see what that place actually looks like and how big the footprint is going to be. He went after various different investment companies, pension funds, you name it, don't invest in oil and gas companies. Biden issued fewer new energy leases on federal lands than any prior president. Again, prior to the Ukraine war. Now, we talked about this. I'm like, what the flip are they doing? You had a Biden administration telling some of our big allies in the Mediterranean, Israel, Cyprus, Greece, no. We don't want you to build that East Med pipeline. Invest in windmills. Jawboning them not to do it. And again, I got to go back and check to see what the status is now. Hopefully that they decided to reopen and get that thing going. Yeah, no, shut that down. Anyway, and again, he basically bragging to all of his thing. We're doing everything to shut down fossil fuels. How's that working out for the country right now? How's it working out? How's it working out for your portfolio? How's it working out for your finances? Is it helpful? Anyway, yesterday's market action. It's about 1,000 different opinions, various different ones. Short, squeeze, this thing, that. Listen. I've said this again and again and again, and it was actually former CEO of Goldman Sachs mentioned. He said, if you had inside information and how hot that inflation number was before that was announced, and you positioned yourself, you lost a ton of money, because based upon that, print yesterday, market should have gone down, right? It didn't. And it's the thing about the markets. Sometimes they go up on bad news. Sometimes they go down on good news. That's just a reality. And this is why you can't time markets. Yesterday was a classic example of that. And I don't think there's going to be much of a change when it comes to volatility in markets by any stretch of the imagination. But I did want to go into a little bit of history here. And a lot of people out there get this very long year. It's like we've had a tough go of it to some degree with the COVID nonsense, and then we were told, oh, it's going to be the roaring 2020. It's going to be roaring. And we told you that there's going to be inflationary pressures, all sorts of issues out there when it comes to garbage companies. But again, 2020 is a pretty long year. This is a pretty long year. I mean, you take a look at the markets and where they were less than a year ago compared to today. It seems like we've been doing this for a very long period of time. But anyway, S&P down more than 22%, almost 24%. Bear market territory. But if you actually take a look at it and use history as a guide, there's actually it's called Stock Traders Almanac. And the market's decline in the first 3 quarters of 2022, he is seen, in a historical light, not so much as a negative, but a really good entry point for investors. Since 1946, the S&P 500 has gained an average of 28.2% over the next 5 quarters after sinking for the first 3 of a calendar year with no losses. And, a lot of people are saying it's going to be a tremendous buying opportunity. Well, also talk about October tending to be a bear killer. Midterm season. Midterm years tend to be rocky ones for stocks, especially under Democratic presidents. While all midterm years show an average gain of 6% in the S&P 500, midterms under Democratic presidencies have an average gain of 4%. Narrow the list of midterms down to the first term midterms, and there's an average loss of 0.6%. But out of this comes high historic average returns going back to 1949 S&P 500 reported an average return 20% in the 3 quarters beginning in October of a midterm election year. Again, history doesn't repeat itself. It rhymes to some degree. Are there conditions on the ground that might make this a little bit more difficult and different? Yeah, there are always conditions out there. And it's very difficult to judge. But quality is quality. And if you own quality, again, we'll be out of this eventually. Hopefully sooner rather than later. But it's going to be honest with you people. Okay, there's just a lot of uncertainty here, there, and everywhere. Anyway, a couple quick. You got to hand it to Elon. He's now got his own perfume. He's now got his own perfume. He's selling 20,000 bottles of this perfume. It's $100 a bottle. You know what the name of the perfume is? Burnt hair. Listen, if you could do it, you do it too. I mean, you can't fault the guy. I mean, how many flamethrowers did he throw? You know what? Have you ever had the Tesla tequila? It's pretty freaking good tequila. I can tell you that it is. It's really good tequila. Tesla tequila. It's expensive too. What else? Yeah, surfboards. Again, if people are going to buy them, why not? Why not? Put your name on it. Sell it. Trump was good at that too. Remember, he had Trump bottled water. He had Trump vodka. Trump vodka. Yeah. He didn't even drink. And he had that line of like furniture and whatnot, houseware stuff. It was so gaudy. Like, people are going to buy a pillow with Trump's family crest on it. You're going to put that in your living room. And this is way before he decided to run for president. Anyway, to each his own. Oh, my old friend here. Yes, I know we've made fun of this company repeatedly here on the program. Beyond Meat, they're cutting 20% of their workforce. Why? Because their business sucks. But we told you that. We told you that when the thing was valued at $250. What was stock? $250? Where's the thing now? 12, 13? $250 a share. Yeah. Was the CEO on with Jim Cramer from Mad Money? Oh, yeah, these guys were all over CNBC. They were touting this thing. It was all the news, all the rage. Well, if they're talking about it on TV, if all these wizards, then it must be a good investment. Then I should probably put it in my portfolio. No, you probably shouldn't. Just saying. A couple quick ones here. I've come down hard on these agents, and I've said here on the program, actually some pushbacks from some of the listeners. We got family members working at the FBI. I'm sorry, the FBI needs to be disbanded. The CIA needs to be disbanded. Everyone needs to be fired, and we need to start over again. You got to start over again. The amount of scandal coming out of the FBI, the crap that takes place at these agencies, it's awful. Okay, it is. They're like shadow governments that we have now. They call them Gestapo. I don't care. Oh, but they do crimes. You know what? They do a lot of nefarious crap too. Going way back when, okay? And we all know this. The FBI offered to pay Christopher Steele dossier, $1 million to prove that his dossier was correct. Why? This again, it's the Trump peeing on the bed in Russia at the Obama, or the hookers. Why would the FBI use your tax dollars to give somebody to prove something like that? I thought the FBI's job is to investigate crime. And again, what this is a political thing. What the hell would the FBI be involved? Russia collusion. It's horseshit. It's politics. And I remember this. Never forget it. Never forget it. Surprised it hasn't been scrubbed from the internet yet. Chucky Schumer on Rachel Maddow's program. This is when Trump was going after the FBI and the CIA. And he, in an interview, says, yeah, you better be careful going after those agencies. They got plenty of ways, I'm paraphrasing, plenty of ways to come back and get you. He wasn't lying. was I? Is this agencies American? I know they fly American flags there, and they got pictures of the president up on the wall. They're not American institutions. They're the exact opposite of what our founders would have wanted. You know how much we have in this country? How much shit we have? How much cancer we have infecting this country that our founders would have despised, but what we just continue to go along with it because that's what we've been doing for a long period of time. Anyway, have a good one. WatchDogOnWallStreet.com, WatchDogOnWallStreet.com. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. We'll see you.